There are a few things that I would like to point out that I think are very important, because you don't get comprehension if you don't have fluency. Mm-hmm. That fluency is the greatest barrier to comprehension. Obviously, a lot of kids can listen and have good comprehension, but to actually read it and comprehend, you have to have fluency. So, yeah, a few things I would say. There's a couple of, one of the programs that I really like, and you do have to pay for it, but it's Reading A to Z. And, it's readingatozee.com. And it is so thorough to me in how it teaches, and you have to print the things off. So, there's a bit of a paper cost there, plus a subscription cost, but it is the best, most comprehensive reading program that I have been able to find. And so basically what it does is it gives a little booklet, which actually it has these little booklets, and, it has something that they can read on their level. Mm-hmm. And then it has all kinds of worksheets, what it calls worksheets, to go with it. And it has the teacher instructions. But these worksheets are not your typical worksheets. They're activities. So you take multisensory, yes. So you're exposed to all the words in the book through these activities, and, maybe creating them, recognizing them on sight, sounding them out, all these things before you get to the book.
Wow.
And then,
so your child interacts with them and has an experience with them. So when they get to the book, they don't seem like an oblivious thing. Right.
And this goes all the way up through 5th grade for a typical child. So there are wonderful texts that you can download that you can work on fluency with, but also comprehension. So there's all kinds of great topics in there. I mean, there's hundreds of books available, and you can gauge your child's reading level. It has assessments in there where you can gauge their reading level, and then you can assign books to them, or you can, you can just print them up for them. And this website, actually, it's part of Learning A to Z, and they have all different kinds of things, but they also have one called Raz Kids, which is, it has a lot of the books, it reads them out loud to them, same books. So yeah, I think that's a really good website. But there are other programs out there that are good as well. I would say a few other tips I would want to bring in would be to teach word families. When you're teaching phonics, word families, and have them spell the words. Use the same words for spelling as they're learning for reading, because when you can put those two together, you're going to get more bang for your buck. So that's another one. And then I guess I didn't really mention what fluency actually is, but that is reading at the right rate with the right inflection, pronunciation, and accuracy. So, we think, fluency is being good at reading. Well, it is, because a good reader would do all of those things, right? And then, so those were a few things. The other thing I would say, when you're trying to develop sight words or vocabulary words or any list of words, spelling words, 8 at a time. And that is the max. And if the next session they've mastered 4 of them, okay, you can pull those out and give them 4 new ones, but keep the 4 old ones there. And no penalties, no penalties for not getting them. Your child is going to read. They're going to want to read. If they're resisting reading, it's because it's very difficult, but it's not because they don't want to read. And so make it as non-punitive and as enjoyable as possible.
That's a very good point. And I'm glad you gave a definition to that too, because I think sometimes it is oblivious. Like you said, they're a good reader, and we don't think about those components that all added together make someone fluent. And so, but yeah, that would make sense that fluency leads into comprehension, because it's, if we're struggling from one word to the next and we're stopping in the middle, the whole meaning of that sentence and that paragraph can change. And then we aren't going to understand what is actually the context that we're reading.
Right.